Stadium. 1 game set here. And then we'll have 3 with Pittsburgh. And then over the weekend, we'll be at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Full bench with all the call-ups over the weekend for the St. Louis Cardinals. And the Redbirds facing Chris Volstad. 6'8" Chris Volstad. Former #1 overall pick by the Marlins. When I say overall, first-round pick, 16th, and they had 3 first-round choices back in 2005. And it's 2 balls and no strikes on Skip Schumacher.
Volstad, really nothing exceptional. Gets the ball down. He's got a chance to help his own cause. How about yesterday? The Marlins walked 12.
And they have walked a ton in the month of September. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Volstad against Schumacher has not had great success. Skip 3 for 6 against him. And Skip, after the tough start, has that average at 271. The 2-2. On the ground is short. Martinez is up with it. Fires a low throw to Gabby Sanchez. And that's the first out. A look at Tony La Russa's lineup for day baseball here on Fox Sports Midwest. Skip Schumacher, John Jay, and Albert Pujols. Then Matt Holliday, Colby Rasmus swinging a hot bat, Yadier Molina, Pedro Feliz. The pitcher Carpenter batting 8th, and then Brendan Ryan is batting 9th. So the first man is retired, and it brings in University of Miami product, John Jay. Remember last time we were here, all the family and friends that he had here in attendance.
I was thinking about that, and he responded well. Had a couple big games.
And he shoots that one foul and out of play.
That's how you like this big crowd. $5 a seat today. And it's a little bit light.
Marlins right now are tied with New York. Is that slicing and caught? Logan Morrison, who's had a good year, makes the catch.
Even more so a tough catch right there. Coming off the bat. Got John Jay slicing into the corner away from the left fielder.
Morrison, Maben, and Stanton in the outfield. Chad Tracy. And a late scratch was Bonifacio. Martinez is there at short. Ugla, Sanchez on the right side of the infield. Volstad and Brad Davis, your battery today. And here is Albert Pujols. Looks at a strike. Pujols 1 for 4 against this big right-hander. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes.
When you say big, you're talking about his height. 6'8", 232.
And Pujols pops it up to the right side. Sanchez over and runs out of room. A lot of folks disguised his seats today. And a good chance at a souvenir.
Jim Hayes pledged everyone to get at least one foul ball today.
In the dirt, 2 Pujols, who still is sitting on 39 home runs, 107 RBIs, and hitting .307 this year.
Good time to get that number 40, isn't it?
About time.
405 career home runs, the most ever by players start the career after 10 years.
Bobbled by Tracy, stays with it, makes the play. Chris Carpenter takes to the mound, looking for win number 16 when we come back. Florida, final time that these 2 teams will match up this year. Makeup date. Marlins lineup. Bonifacio will not be in that top spot. It'll be Maben in the top spot. This is just a late switch. As Ozzie Martinez will bat second, their shortstop, and this is Cameron Maben, the center fielder, who's hitting .236, 8 home runs, 26 RBIs. Carpenter and Wainwright have piled up the innings again this year. Our Marshall Wireless Sprint starter, ERA of 3.21, and Carp 15-7 this year.
196 innings pitch. He gets a couple. I mean 216. If he gets to 220, and Wainwright at 224 plus. The first time Cardinals have had 2 starters over 220 innings since '96. Menace and Stottlemyre. Todd Stottlemyre.
Stottlemyre was the guy that you really liked to watch pitch because he was a bulldog.
You know, the Cardinals, ever since Tony has been here, they've had one of those real bulldog type take charge leaders of the staff. Woody Williams comes to mind. Carpenter really has been that guy, and he has been a big force in the development of Wainwright. You know, Wainwright will take charge and he'll lead when several years down the road when Carpenter's gone. We really need that big, you know, that ace and horse.
Strikeout for Carpenter to start the afternoon here in Florida. So Maben strikes out, brings in Martinez. Holiday, Rasmus, Jay in the outfield. Around the horn, brought to you by Dobbs. Feliz has played very sharp defense at third. And the battery is Carpenter and Yadier Molina. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs. Here's Ozzie Martinez. No Handler Ramirez in this lineup.
And Ramirez has a bad elbow, and Martinez, and there you see the interim manager who's played .500 since he's been here.
Edwin Rodriguez hit to short, taken there by Brendan Ryan. 2 outs.
I was going to say Martinez, who just grounded out. There you see Hanley. He was a victim of misidentification last year in Puerto Rico. Drive-by shooting, middle of the day, was shot 3 times. Martinez, the young shortstop, so he's happy to be one alive and here playing in the big leagues.
There's Logan Morrison, who's hit in 15 of his last 17 games and 40 of 48 overall. And really a good year. He's had on-base percentage of .467 in his last 38 contests. Reached base safely in all of the 38 games since August 7th.
That's the franchise record for them, for a rookie.
That's the 3rd longest this year in the big leagues. Mark Teixeira of the Yankees had 42 straight. Joey Votto, who could be the MVP in the National League from the Reds, had 41.
Same college, junior college as Albert.
Feliz was playing well off the line, positioned perfectly. After 1, no score here in Florida. These teams 15 games out, National League East, and today a look at our keys to the game. Last 5 starts, Volstad 3-0 with a high ERA, but Carpenter 1-3, just about the same ERA. Run support, though, that's the difference. Over 10 runs in those starts per game for Volstad. And here's Matt Holliday, who's been swinging a hot bat. .664 slugging percentage against the Marlins. Also ranked 2nd in career batting. .356 mark against the Marlins. 10 home runs, 30 RBIs. 0-1 pitch. Taken for a strike. And we were talking earlier this season about Holliday and trying to come through in key spots, Al. And with 2 outs, now Matt Holliday really has picked that up.
Leads the National League in that department. Nearly 50 RBIs, and of course he is sitting on 99 for the season. But he got the game-winning hit in all 3 wins against San Diego.
Well, the Marlins saw a scary moment here at Sun Life Field Stadium with the bat that shattered and hit Tyler Colvin. There's a shot out to left, and that ball is off the top of the wall. Holliday has to hustle into second base. This will be close. He's in there with a double. That's another thing that he's done. 40-plus doubles this year.
43rd among, he was 3rd in the National League in doubles. Locked in right now, 12-game hitting streak. Look at the way he's just locked in on that ball, location, the follow through. I just missed being another home run by a few feet as extended scoreboard.
And Colby out in front pulls it foul. It's now a 12-game hitting streak for Matt Holliday. You think about Pujols, Holliday, and Colby Rasmus. Pujols 39 home runs, Holliday 27, Rasmus with 23. Ranked 1st in the National League in combined home runs. No balls and 2 strikes. So 43 doubles for Matt Holliday. And a swing and a miss. Foul tip held on to by Brad Davis. We talked about it a lot last couple of years, but what would happen if a bat shatters and hits a player or a fan? That sharp bat caught Tyler Colvin in their sweep of the Marlins.
He's actually still in the hospital here in South Florida, where they're keeping an observation on him. It did penetrate the skin, and they're worried about puncturing his lung. Will that be the final straw to finally do something about these maple bats? Outlaw them or do something?
Put on some type of regulation as they look at the bats. There's something that they can do.
They've been trying to do that for a couple of years. Yeah, did that study, and then they tried to change the manufacturing of them to. The problem is they're so light.
0-2 on Molina.
You hit a ball at the end of it, it's going to break, but not like an ash bat that cracks, doesn't break in half. These things just shatter, and the sharp part of that the bat just stuck him right in the chest. What would have happened if that would have been around the eye or in the face?
And you could see there, no time to react for Colvin either.
No, he was watching the fly of the ball and never saw the bat coming his way.
Molina pops it up right side. Gabby Sanchez, 2 outs. And it's up to Pedro Feliz. You wonder if it hits a fan, would that change it? Does it have to be even a more severe injury? Would that change it? But very scary moment here in Florida. Season numbers there for Pedro Feliz. Coming over from Houston. He's played very well defensively for the Cardinals. Got off to a good start swinging the bat, but has cooled off considerably. And he takes a pitch a little bit high. The Cardinals start today 77-71. Still alive. 6 games back of Cincinnati. Cincinnati at Milwaukee later today. Reds have won 11 of their past 12 against the Brewers, but they are 1-7 in their past 8 road games.
Yeah, they've been struggling on the road, and
Feliz pops it up. Ugla over. He's got it, and he'll lead it off when we come back in the bottom of the second. No score here in Florida. Or even under 1,000, text attendance ABC to 432-432. The Cardinals, by the way, surpassed 3 million in home attendance yesterday. That's the 7th consecutive season they've done that. 5th consecutive at Busch Stadium 3. And it's the 14th time overall they've seen 3 million fans come through. Only the Yankees, Phillies, Dodgers have surpassed 3 million this season already. So congratulations to the Cardinals, and I know they don't take that lightly. They want to say thank you to the fans.
Not at all, but 7 more home games too, right?
We'll wrap up with a 7-game homestand, and the back end of that homestand, 4 with Colorado. That'll be fun.
It'll be a lot of fun. And San Diego and the Giants will be playing each other that final weekend.
Here's Ugla with a high fly ball out to left. Backing up Holliday. Runs out of room. Backing up Matt Holliday is Colby Rasmus, and Ugla nearly connected with his 32nd home run. This guy is some kind of hitter, isn't he?
He really is. 4 consecutive years he's had at least 30 home runs. Hanging breaking ball and jams him just a little bit, but just shows you the strength. And then Holliday got a little too close to the wall, couldn't jump. I think he was surprised that ball just kept on carrying, drifting,
Ugla with 96 RBIs. That's a career high at 92 back in 08. And 4 years being a second baseman and hitting at least 30 home runs. I mean, think about that. When you were playing a second baseman, just getting to what, 10, maybe 15?
Yeah, your biggest home run hitters were 15 to 20. You know, at the second base spot. You know, of course, Davey Johnson one year had 40 home runs as a second baseman.
Well, one thing Volstad did in the top of this inning following the leadoff double by Holiday is that he kept him there. He got a strikeout, 2 pop-ups on the infield. Let's see if Carpenter can return the favor.
Some people believe Sanchez is the favorite to the Rookie of the Year. Now, his numbers are good, and he leads in many categories, but many times he's very close to Jason Hayward. And I think playing on a team that's still in contention weighs a little bit heavier on the voters' minds.
Also, there's been so much fanfare and even in spring training, so much attention on Jason Hayward. Then he hits a home run in his first at bat. The national media picked up on that. And he's had a very good stretch run for the Atlanta Braves. But Sanchez, to break down his numbers among all Major League rookies, he's got 35 doubles, 78 RBIs, 56 extra base hits, 241 total bases. So taking a look at what he did a year ago, a lot of improvement with Gabby Sanchez. And a walk by Carpenter. The first 2 have reached here in the bottom of the second. Brings in their third baseman, Chad Tracy, who's hitting just .250, 1 home run, and 13 RBIs.
He's kind of bounced around a little bit this year. Yankees, Cubs, now Marlins. Veteran. About his first 6 years with the Arizona in the big leagues.
Runners at first and second. That catches the outside corner. Speaking of Hayward and the Braves, they'll be at Philadelphia. Phils have won 7 straight. They won in walk-off fashion yesterday. They've won 11 of 12. Going back to late August, they're now 19-4 since the 27th of August. And they've lined up their pitching for that all-important series at Citizens Bank Park. They've got Hamels, Halladay, and Oswalt, and they lead the Braves by 3 games in the National League East. It's all coming together again for them. There's a fly ball out to Colby Rasmus. Ugla tags up from second base, throw into third. Missed the cutoff, and in doing so, Sanchez advances to second.
Had a long talk with Dave McKay today and talked a little bit about how he can improve, being a little more aggressive. See, he backs up here, but he didn't assume he's going to run. And it took too much time. Back up, throw the ball. Do not, he backs up like he's in position, but then he looks to see. And that was the difference of him being out or even just staying at second base. Ultimate advance, take advantage of the mistake.
Intentional walk here to Stanton. That'll be the second walk in this inning and in the game by Carpenter. And they'll deal with the catcher and the 8th place hitter, Brad Davis, on deck. So good chance early on here for the Marlins. They'll have the bases loaded and only 1 out. And Davis will be the hitter.
There was a situation, Dan, where you really put Carpenter under the gun because there was no way. You should have had 1 out and a runner, the runners at first and second.
Well, I think even more importantly to that, Al, is the fact that he misses the cut. You hit the cut, even if Ugla is safe at third, you keep that runner at first base. But regardless, it's bases loaded, 1 out. And the hitter, Brad Davis.
The point being, if you come up and fire, they aren't even going to try to run. But those are little areas that, is still part of the development for Kobe, and he'll get better. He has gotten better with his throwing.
First pitch was a breaking ball outside, a little bit high. Carpenter would love the double play here. Just trying to get him to reach and maybe get that ground ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Carpenter making his first appearance against the Marlins this year. Last year in one start he went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits. High drive, deep left. Holiday looks up and it's gone. Grand slam. Brad Davis. He fell behind, 2 balls and no strikes, and Brad Davis connects with a grand slam, his 3rd home run, and RBIs 11, 12, 13, and 14.
Davis was just 3 for 19 before this at bat, and down in the middle of the plate. Sure, Carpenter never thought that would happen, and just like that, they have a big lead, 4-0 right out of the gate.
First career grand slam for Brad Davis. Last time out, Carpenter went 6 1/3. Cardinals lost to the Chicago Cubs that night. They were swept in that series. Remember, Carpenter left with a cramp back of his leg. Start before that, gave up 6 runs in 1 inning to the Atlanta Braves and lost the game. That's a curveball that's pulled foul. And then prior to that was a win 4-2, 7 1/3 against the Cincinnati Reds. Volstad is hitting .089.
Last 2 games he has not pitched particularly well. Prior to that, he had some games where he little runs scored, he would have won.
Every piece tells a story at Cardinals Authentics, the only place that you'll find game-used, limited editions, and autographed memorabilia, collectibles. Visit CardinalsAuthentics.com. You can do that anytime. And they also set up shop during home games out in the Ford Plaza. And right now they have a piece that a lot of fans love to see. It's a 1982 commemorative baseball with Whitey Herzog signing it. Bruce Sutter is on it. Ozzie Smith. Keith Hernandez has signed that. Really neat piece. And
Bob
you can
Forsch.
and Bob Forsch. And you can get that at CardinalsAuthentics.com. Upstairs to Maven, who struck out first time up. It's not your normal memorabilia type store because it's all Cardinals, and they'll take bases and cut those up if a record has been set, have the players sign it. Pitching rubber, hats, jerseys, baseballs, CardinalsAuthentics.com. 1-2 the count on Maven. Curveball and a swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts in the inning. 3 this afternoon. But Brad Davis connects with his first ever grand slam. 4-0 after 2. First pitch is strike 2 Carpenter, underway here in the top of the 3rd along with Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes has joined us as he does every 3rd inning, and a ground ball hit to second for the first out. You can follow the Cardinals on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phone with MLB.com at Bat 2010. Features play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcast. For more information, visit Cardinals.com today. And the Cardinals front office has been busy with reinforcements. Cardinals recalled Alan Craig, Joe Mather, P.J. Walters, Mark Hamilton. Also, the team purchased contract of Daniel Descalso, and Evan McClain was designated for assignment. Now, Craig, Mather, and Walters all have played this season for the Cardinals. And Descalso was going to pinch hit over the weekend, but got pulled back, so he was announced, but we have not seen him take an official at bat. So, Jim, they've been busy.
Well, Descalso told me that when he first went out there to get into the on-deck circle, he was aware of the circumstances that he might be yanked at the last second, as we see a K. But he said he was so locked in on the at-bat that he kind of forgot that, and it took him by surprise when he went back to the dugout. everyone gave him a bunch of high fives for making his major league debut.
And Al, this is a guy they're really high on. He's a second baseman. He's had a back-to-back years of being a minor league all-star, and they think he could be a guy to watch out for here in the future.
He hit, I think it was close to, if not 500 in spring training. Got everybody's attention. Had a nice season, as you mentioned. He's been an all-star the last couple of years. And
here's a grounder to short. And a high throw, but Schumacher is out. And Skip on the afternoon is 0 for 2. 4-0 Florida midway through 3. Bottom of the third. Ozzie Martinez, Logan Morrison, and Dan Uggla for the Marlins. 4-0 thanks to a grand slam by Brad Davis.
Not a lot of options on the first inning there.
Well, there's not a lot of people.
Yes, that's what I'm driving.
Our director, Tom Mee, will find folks enjoying that ice-cold Budweiser, but we shot the sign. Went down to get it, and a base hit. A couple of hops to Rasmus. Leadoff hit for Ozzie Martinez.
Should be his first major league hit.
Well, we've seen that Matt Pagnozzi it is his first major league hit. That ball is thrown out. Brian Anderson has caught Pagnozzi, and we'll see him go down to get this base hit against Carpenter. But Jason LaRue is going to retire after the season. Matter of fact, he'll be with the team tomorrow in Pittsburgh to see a concussion specialist. And he received that concussion thanks to the spikes of Johnny Cueto.
Yeah, and I think a lot of guys on this Cardinal team will get a lift just by seeing Jason LaRue. He didn't get a lot of playing time, but played a key role for this team. And I think a lot of guys are eager to see him and see how he's doing.
And the one that maybe misses it more than anybody is right there, Chris Carpenter. Those two really had forged quite a friendship both on and off the field.
Yeah, they did a lot of their working out together, and where you saw one on the field doing some kind of exercise, you usually saw the other.
That's a base hit into right. Martinez to second. They'll test him. Cut off by Brendan Ryan. First and third with nobody out. Now what are you seeing from Carpenter here?
Pitches in the middle of the plate. Nice. Trying to get off the plate a little bit, but he's leaving it in the middle. This kid's got a little bit of speed. Picks up his third base coach. Really was kind of not running all the way, as he took plenty of time to pick up his third base coach, throw a little bit offline and was short. So, Brendan Ryan had no choice but to cut it off and keep the double plate in order.
Is that the first time we've seen that this year? Somebody picking up their third base coach?
I'm sure it's happened a time or two, but not many. You see Carpenter keeps on missing inside, and then he'll get a ball over in the middle of the plate a little bit. Sometimes these young hitters, and Uggla is not one of them, but young hitters don't know that they were set up and they were supposed to make an out on sudden pitches. When you get a guy of Carpenter's experience.
1 ball, 1 strike, and Uggla doubled off the wall and left. First time up. Oof. Boy, he takes a rip, too.
Yes. Doesn't get cheated. One of the better Rule 5 pickups in recent years.
You see that kind of cut, though, and it makes you wonder how comfortable he must be in the box.
Well, and that's a very good point, Dan, because when you see guys just swinging from their heels, obviously there's no fear. Not set up back inside.
Breaks his bat. Going out, Brendan Ryan makes the catch. One away. Double play possibly, and you're out of this.
You think about how you were talking before about second basemen who were productive offensively. You rattled off a couple names, but what an easier thing that is when your second baseman is a big bat. How much easier it is to fill out that line.
I mean, he's made 16 errors, but you don't mind it because of his producing and his ability. And by the way, that's the same amount of errors that Schumacher's made this season.
Now it's up to Gabby Sanchez, who walked and scored on the grand slam. A lot of talk about Jaime Garcia. Will he make one more start in the final couple of weeks? And where does he stand with that?
Well, I was talking to Tony about that before the game. Jeff Suppan will start Thursday in Pittsburgh. They were looking at that as a possible slot for Jaime. What they're doing is putting Jeff in there, and they're going to reevaluate again. There's an arm fatigue issue that Tony says they want to be very careful with, so there's a chance, Tony says, the final week that Jaime could get a start.
Al, how tough would that be, though, for him to take that kind of time off, a rookie, and then just to go out there and have some type of feel? Creature of habit every fifth day, he's been there. This is hit down the left field line. It is hooking. Home run distance, but foul.
I get the impression that if we are eliminated, they will do everything they can not to start him. He was pretty much, I think the organization, Tony and Duncan, would like him not make any starts. It's Jaime who is really pushing for this, and you have to really respect that, because he doesn't want to just rest on what he's done. In my mind, he's already been the best rookie pitcher in the National League, but he wants to go out there. He feels like he doesn't want to let his team down.
But don't you, as a manager, or John Mozeliak as a GM, Dave Duncan pitching coach, or even the medical staff, don't you say, hey, Jaime had a great run this year, but we're going to take that decision out of your hands?
Or maybe you say, okay, you're going to miss a start or two, but there's still a possibility. Still a possibility.
There's a strikeout of Gabby Sanchez. And it's up to Chad Tracy to fly it out to center. Let's go pitch by pitch, presented by Chevrolet.
Big kind of looping breaking ball, almost a hanger. Then he gets one just far enough inside to go and pull it back down and away. And then the breaking ball off the plate. So at least that time, other than the one first hanging breaking ball, everything on both sides of the plate, get a young hitter to expand his zone.
Now it's Chad Tracy. 2 outs, runners at the corners. 4-0 Marlins here in the third. It's like, pro football. And Jason Witten's a good example. The Cowboys tight end. He gets a concussion, and the coaches, they don't even talk to the player about it till after the game, and it's all up to the medical staff. The medical staff steps in and says, no, you're not going in. You're not going to play.
But Tony says the medical report isn't black and white where they have to shut him down.
Right.
So they were doing it out of caution, shutting him down. When Jaime heard about it, he lobbied, and he was so enthusiastic about wanting to pitch again that they said they'd reevaluate, as opposed to just saying you're done.
Right, and I think the bottom line is, obviously, Tony, Dave Duncan, the staff, medical staff, they're all going to be extremely cautious with it and want to think long term. Jaime is the emotional in the moment, saying, I want to help my team win. So I think that you give him a lot of credit for not just packing in. And believe me, Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan really respect him for wanting to pitch, but they're also going to, they're going to look at you long range.
Well, the first 2 reached, and then Carpenter gets a pop out. And back-to-back strikeouts. Jay, Pujols, Holiday coming up. John Jay leads it off. First pitch, a high strike by Volstad. And the 0-1. Jay looks at a ball outside. John Jay, Albert Pujols, Matt Holiday. Jay was robbed his first time up by the left fielder Logan Morrison, who made a nice sliding catch in left field. Hits it to short, and he's 0 for 2. October 1st, the Cardinals take on the Colorado Rockies, and you can support an amazing cause during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. 25,000 fans ages 16 and over receive a breast cancer awareness tote bag, courtesy of Fuse and Schnucks. For more information, visit cardinals.com/promotions. Always good to see the foam fingers out, because Keith Oberman and our truck, our steam crew, collects foam fingers. As Pujols taps it foul, and there's nothing like a foam finger collection. It is unique.
And so is he.
Pujols grounded out to third, first time up. 2 balls and 1 strike.
We got to get Jim Hayes to interview Keith and find out where that started.
Get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, get the rest of the story.
Walk to Pujols. And that's the Cardinals' second base runner of the afternoon. The other, Matt Holliday, who doubled back in the second and left stranded at second base. One out walk. First walk issued by Volstad, who will turn 24 in 3 days. Out of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Nicholas had some of his bits over the weekend. Had a very interesting little take on Holiday's season.
I thought it was great to look at the numbers and where he's compared to.
But I mean, questioning is he worth his contract? Well, by this study, he was worth over $24 million. I think it was 24.2. Based on what he's done this year.
Holliday off the end of the bat. This may get down. And the catch made, though, by Logan Morrison. Pujols has to hustle back to first.
And Albert was worth 24.8. Give you an idea about those two.
Holliday retired, and it brings in Colby Rasmus. 2 outs and a runner at first. And let's go back to the pitch that gets Matt.
Set up away. Little breaking ball. Got him way out in front. Off balance. Hits it off the end of the bat. Must have been playing him into right center for the left fielder to make that ball and almost straightaway center.
Here's Colby. He's been fooled by a couple of these breaking balls by Volstad. That was a big 12-6 finish.
Volstad's been sent back to the minor leagues for a portion of the year, the last 2 years.
Popped up to the left side on a play.
I'll say one of the things, they wanted to be more aggressive in the strike zone. Some little nuances like how to hold runners on better. He has pitched well since coming back from the minor leagues this year. And his first outing since serving a 6-game suspension.
Niger Morgan was part of that.
It wasn't so much that Niger Morgan ran into their catcher the night before, was hit by a pitch. They stole second and third, but it wasn't that. It was when after he crossed home plate, he came into their dugout and started pointing to the Marlins dugout and started pounding his chest like, I'm the greatest. That's why he was thrown at the next time, and then he charged them out. Volstad held his ground, threw a haymaker, missed. Gabby Sanchez got him really good.
And that was also on the heels of when Morgan hit Brian Anderson when we were in Washington.
And when he still was appealing a 7-game suspension for throwing a ball at a fan in the stands.
Terrible.
Yeah, so he's making some news from the wrong direction.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Colby Rasmus. Pulled foul again. You mentioned it, Al, that Colby in your 5 for 55 has been a guy that, since that little controversy between he and Tony La Russa, has really stepped it up and swung the bat well.
Well, he's really talked about how, he learned something about that. Quit worrying about things that are beyond his control. Just try and relax and go out and have some fun.
And we forget, because we've heard his name now when he was in the minor leagues and now in the major leagues for a number of years, that he's still very, very young.
Very young, and what he's going through is quite common.
3-2 and a walk. So 2 walks in the inning. Going back to the Volstad video here. Flashback, and behind Niger Morgan, here we go. Misses, and then boom, Gabby Sanchez coming from his first base position.
Clothesline.
Ridiculous. Walk to Colby. He's on base for the first time, and here's Molina. Popped out to first. Runners at first and second. 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Strike 1. So Volstad is pitching on 8 days. And we talked about how these guys are creatures of habit. He's got extra rest, and sometimes that's not a good thing. There's a broken bat hit to short. Molina retired. The Cardinals strand 2. Their first 2 they've left on outside of Holiday. Back in the second. 4-0 midway through 4th. We win. Very trying year that season for Tony La Russa and the Redbirds. Wound up going 97-65 in 2002. Swept Arizona in the first series, and then lost 4-1 to San Francisco. Should stay in the ballpark, or will it? Yes, it will. Near the wall, Matt Holliday takes it for the out.
Hanging breaking ball inside, and the ball was jumping. You thought this had another shot, at least get off the wall, but Holliday looking up. Not midway on the warning track, calls it in.
And that pitch taken a little bit low, so bottom of the order here that Carpenter's dealing with. It's Stanton to fly out, the 7th place hitter. Here's Davis, who has a grand slam to account for all the scoring in our ball game. Starters this year for St. Louis collectively 3.51 ERA. That's the best in the major leagues. Rasmus over to get it. 2 outs. And you look at all the things that the Cardinals have had this year that's gone right. Carpenter healthy. Wainwright could win the Cy Young. Pujols could be an MVP. We were talking about a triple crown. You might have the Rookie of the Year. Your bullpen, for the most part, has been good, and yet this team finds itself 6 games back.
Boy, just think what would have happened if Brad Penny would have stayed healthy. Osh wouldn't have missed those 3 months.
It was big. You wonder if the starting rotation really overshadowed the problems that did exist with this team, because the Cardinals got off to a fine start.
I think in a lot of ways it did, but yet even with the good starting pitching, the Cardinals need to score at least 4 runs in order to win.
2-1 pitch. David Freese went down, and Cardinals had to go out and get Pedro Feliz. They suffered both offensively and defensively. Another strikeout for Carpenter. Through the first 4 innings, he has 6. Feliz, Carpenter, Ryan coming up. 4-0 Florida. Making some pizzas here in Florida. Cardinal fans, that's one way to block the sun. Since 2006, which Cardinal team had the least amount of wins on the road? Our AT&T trivia question. 2006, 34 wins. This year, 31. As Feliz taps it foul. Of course, 2006. Could have been one of the greatest collapses ever in baseball history, and wound up, hey, the Cardinals got in and won the World Series. Feliz breaks his bat and picks up a base hit. I would think, Al, one of the other things the Cardinals have to look at next year is what do you surround Holiday and Pujols with in this lineup? You know, you get past those 2 guys right now, and there's just not a lot offensively going on for St. Louis.
Well, Kobe's going to get better and better, and but right now you do have to remember there's an awful lot of young hitters, and of course you're talking about a young David Freese is a big part of that question mark, and is he going to be back? He looks like he's going to be a run producer, but you have to question, will he be healthy? How much mobility will he have after ankle surgeries on both ankles? There's a lot of question marks. How do you tighten up the defense?
Do you count on a guy like David Freese coming back next year? Certainly hope so, that he's going to be able to play, but he's had multiple surgeries on those ankles. If healthy, it gives you production. We've seen that.
Part of the problem is you really won't know until he starts playing.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Carpenter picks up the sacrifice. Ninth place hitter today, Brendan Ryan. Brendan Ryan struck out swinging first time up. Volstad has walked 2. That was in the 4th. He's given up a couple of base hits. A double to Holiday in the 2nd. Single by Feliz here in the 5th. That's the pitch that got Ryan the first time.
Chasing off balance. Just obviously Brendan Ryan wasn't the 290 hitter he was a year ago, but I still like to think he's not as bad as he's shown this season.
Big gap in the left center, the 0-1. Make it 0-2. Big series in the American League starting tonight. Yankees and Tampa Bay. 4-game series in the Bronx. The Rays trying to win that season series for just the 2nd time in their existence over the Yankees. New York leads it by a half game over Tampa Bay. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yankees this year 49 wins at home, 49-25.
Pretty close out away from him as that ball kind of tailed back in, but just off the plate.
Two and two.
And it's like, you know, it's very interesting. You know, it's like you try to improve this ball club. I think in many ways you show a vote of confidence and you give Brendan Ryan a lot more pats on the back and say, go play. You know, we'll live with your offense. You're not as bad, but work on a couple things. So you must get production from your third baseman. You really do have to take a serious look about, you know, improving at second base. Are you comfortable with your right field situation, or do you need to put a power hitter there?
In the air out to right. Mike Stanton under it. And there's 2 outs as Feliz stays put at second base. Here's a look at the Dolphins trophy case and our What's on Tap brought to you by Budweiser. Jake Westbrook coming off an outstanding performance. 8 innings last time out. 2 and 3 against Paul Mahalam, the lefty. 7-15. Big win for the Dolphins yesterday as they upended the Vikings and Brett Favre. Schumacher is 0 for 2. Vikings are 0-2. Dallas 0-2. And the Rammies. Al's Rams are 0-2.
So now they're mine, huh?
When they win, they're my Rams. Popped up on a 2-0 pitch. Shortstop Martinez has got it. Cardinals have stranded 4. Midway through 5 and Florida on top. Even trying to bunt his way on. Feliz, bare hands, throws to first and makes the play. Excitement begins October 6th. Division series on TBS. Good play there by Pedro Feliz.
Sure was. Of course, he was anticipating the bunt. Got it. And comes in here. You got a barehanded throw on the run. Second best fielding percentage by a National League third baseman since 07. Really made a lot of errors with Houston. And only 2 with the Cardinals.
Reds jersey, Johnny Bench.
Hey, do the Reds want to win this thing? I think it's
Good point.
You know, I know they've been hurt. They got a lot of their infielders hurt, but problem is they've been 5-8 since the Cardinals, since they played in St. Louis, but so are the Cardinals 5-8.
2 balls and a strike. Foul tip by Martinez, who picked up his first ever major league hit back in the 3rd. He's also grounded to short as Carpenter's dealing with the top of this lineup. Osvaldo Martinez, he goes by Ozzy. 2-2 the count. Pulls it foul. Now let's revisit Carpenter working on that first base side of the rubber, which he started to do when he got to St. Louis and worked with Dave Duncan.
A lot of times that helps you, in this case, probably get to the outside part of the plate. You see that one, Molina was set up outside and kind of ran up and in. Probably was experiencing throwing from the third base side, leaving a lot of balls in the middle of the plate.
Taps it foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out, nobody on.
Probably would help his cutter dynamically get that ball down and away to the right-handed batters, in on the lefties.
Curveball. Not quite on top of it. 3-2.
Nope. That one left it up and in.
Popped up to the left side. Feliz, foul territory. 2 outs. So 2 away and nobody on.
That's what's happened a lot tonight. Or this afternoon, he hadn't been able to get that ball where he wants it. But see, it just ran inside. Molina set up away. But you're talking about a guy with no power, so you're trying to get him a hit in the air either way.
Morrison with 2 outs. He is singled, left stranded back in the 3rd, and also grounded out to 3rd. 77 pitches this afternoon. The 2nd inning got to Carpenter. He gave up the grand slam, his one mistake. 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike as the bottom dropped out of that pitch.
Oh, Morrison.
Grounder. Pujols will backhand, stays with it, race to the bag. Carpenter is there, out. Ball came up a little bit on Pujols. Carpenter stayed with it. Jay, Pujols, Holiday coming up. And by Brad Davis. Let's go back to the last play.
Look how far off the first baseline with Schumacher right behind him. A much easier play for Schu. Albert juggled it, gets over there, and they just nip him. Instead of hitting the front part of the bag, Carpenter kind of gets the back end, almost maybe with his heel. But with the high throw, you can't really look down and find that bag. But play was made.
There's John Jay.
I got a question for you. Does Albert win another Gold Glove?
I think this year he does.
He's made 4 errors.
But
he has so much range.
And the total chances
and
that he has.
Total chances, and you know, I mean, he's fearless in throwing. You know, so he'll throw trying to get a runner going from 2nd to 3rd. Try to do all kinds of different things.
It's an offensive award.
There's well, yeah, unfortunately, but there's a lot of competition even with that as first basemen in the National League.
This season, easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub, official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. StubHub.com and choose your seats today. There's some fans saying, well, what are you talking about? It's a Gold Glove. Well, a lot of times it's the guys that put up numbers offensively that do get the recognition for that, and then as a byproduct get recognition for what they do with their glove.
It's voted on by the by the managers and coaches. But if you really watch, in most positions, it's a guy that is an outstanding hitter that is pretty good defensively. And in some cases, it's flat out, you know, it's just an easy choice. But it's like what's Kenny Reitz always say?
Well, I go to Mike Schmidt and I ask him, how do my Gold Gloves look on your mantle? That's what he said to
Kenny Reitz,
Mike Schmidt.
Kenny Reitz would win the fielding percentage in the National League, set a record for the fewest errors, and Mike Schmidt would get the Gold Glove because of his offensive numbers.
Line out to Ugla. He's playing towards the middle. We go back to our text poll with 2 outs and nobody on and a 4-0 Marlins lead. Pujols on the afternoon is 0 for 2 with a walk and over 2,000. 64% say so. Not only have to guess the attendance today, you have to name them. 64%. Wainwright has a chance at another Gold Glove.
He has an error this year.
It was a throwing error on a play down the first base line.
And the funny thing is he thought he deserved, deserved a Cy Young last year, and instead got the Gold Glove. Did not commit an error last year, so.
Holiday sharply to short, staying with it. And a long throw, safe at first. Martinez, tough play and a hard hit ball on a short hop. Stayed with it, but Holiday, you never questioned his hustle. He was running hard down the line.
Nope. Back-to-back tough plays for our first base umpire, Brian Honora. Look at it, eats him up. He stays with it. Strong play from the young shortstop. And as you mentioned, Holiday always running hard down the line. First baseman tries to come off that bag a little bit to help sell it. Doesn't look like he was safe.
So E6 on the play. Holiday reaches on the air. Colby Rasmus 0 for 1. Walk back in the 4th. Colby is seeing a steady diet of breaking balls and off-speed pitches here in his at-bats. They're pretty high on this guy, Volstad. They think he is going to be a star before it's all said and done. Volstad has walked 2, and Al told you about all the walks that they had yesterday, 83 pitches, and you get a look at by inning what he's done. In September, with 2 more today, Florida has 84 walks they've issued. The next closest, 69. That's slicing and a base hit. 2 runners on for Yadier Molina. Yadi has stranded 3 on the day.
It'd be great to see Colby get a whole bunch of hits to the opposite field, left field, and convince him. Now that's a tough pitch down and away, and just kind of throws the bat at it and gets the base hit. Colby, a 4-game hitting streak. He is 7 for his last 12. But they're pitching him away a lot now. His breaking balls or fastballs, and it seemed like he kind of got into a little pool mode.
Molina, little bloop into right. They were playing in, and the catch made near the line. Cardinals have stranded 6. Ugla coming up. Here's Dan Ugla, and we're underway in the Marlins half of the 6th. They have a grand slam from Brad Davis, their 8th place hitter, his first ever grand slam, and that's the difference in the game. Ugla today with a double and also popped out 1 for 2.
Carps retired 9 in a row.
Ugla with a fly ball into shallow left center field. Holiday makes the catch. We always hear about PFP, pitchers fielding practice, and the line that a pitcher has to take to the bag when they have to cover.
Well, it depends on the speed of your runner. Now, go right like this. If you don't have a real speedy runner, then you can see the ball. If you got a speedy runner, you got to go directly to the bag. Carpenter not the fastest, and then with that little delay there, the high throw, Carpenter really couldn't see where the bag was. Looked like he clipped it with his heel. But if you've got a real fast runner, you got to race to the bag. If you've got time, you kind of run up the line, then you can see the throw in the bag with your peripheral vision. Step on it, even if you're receiving the throw. But fast runner, you just got to get to the bag as quick as you can.
Carpenter, one of the co-aces of this staff. Wainwright, 8 innings yesterday, and now with back-to-back 19-win seasons. And a base hit by Gabby Sanchez. On base for the second time to go along with a walk. But 20 is that magical number. Really catches your eye, doesn't it?
Well, I think if he would have had 20 last year, he would have won the Cy Young. And he was in line for it. You know, his last start, he had a big lead, 6-1 lead. They took him out, and the bullpen, one of the few times it failed, and he was denied his 20th victory. They'll make sure he gets 20 this year.
And you always look as you break down the numbers for those potential Cy Young Award winners. Strikeouts, innings pitched, ERA in no particular order. This could be 2. Out at second, on to first, and they get the double play. 4-6-3 on the double play. Started by Skip Schumacher. We head to the 7th. Marlins on top. Brewery Tour on your list. As Feliz pops it up. First pitch, 1 away. Brewery Tours are open 7 days a week, and it's all free. So we hope to see you soon. For more information, visit us at BudweiserTours.com. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
You've taken the tour, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
And not just the tasting room. Here's Descalzo, who will get his second plate appearance with an asterisk, right?
Pulled from his last plate appearance that really never was one for him. He was introduced and then pulled back.
Yeah, but it constituted. He was put in the game, so I was kidding him. I said, you'll probably come up and hit a grand slam and won't get credited for doing that in your first at bat because it'd be your first official, but not your major league debut.
Chops one to the right side and a foul ball. 2 balls and 1 strike on Descalso, who was on the Caravan with me this last offseason. And he was one of the real popular players on my particular Caravan because Cardinal fans knew about him and what he had done in the minor leagues.
Hit .282 this year, 9 home runs, 71 RBIs, 32 doubles led the Redbirds. Pacific Coast League All-Star. He was named Topps AA second baseman in 2009.
Ground ball to second. Ugla with it. 2 outs. I was talking to John Jay about him. He and John are very close friends, and John was telling me that if they needed to shift him to third base or shortstop, he has played all 3 infield positions and plays them above average. So Carpenter's day is through. Here's Brendan Ryan as Descalso was the pinch hitter for Carp. Carpenter gives up 4 runs on 1 swing of the bat, the grand slam. Brendan Ryan 0 for 2. He's fly to right and also struck out as Hawksworth is getting loose in the pen. We'll see what happens in spring training, but you know Hawksworth wants to start. McClellan would like to start. We'll see if one of those guys can battle it out for that 5th spot. Another guy to keep an eye on is Lance Lynn. In the air out to center. Cardinals go quietly here in the top of the 7th. Marlins lead it 4-0. Glad you're with us. We are at Sun Life Stadium in Florida. 4-0. The Marlins with a lead. 8 hits combined in this game and 5 going for the Marlins. Look at the scorecard there of Tony La Russa. September baseball. You fill it up with a lot of names. And a new pitcher in, Blake Hawksworth for St. Louis, and our Chevy call to the bullpen.
Tony's got 35 names to pick from. And Hawksworth coming to this action. This pitch last on Saturday. Appearing for the 44th time, ERA at 5, 88 innings. Still intriguing when he gets the ball down, and he's got a very good changeup. Keep hitters off balance.
Hawksworth has worked out of the bullpen and the starting rotation this year. That pitch is taken low. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike on Mike Stanton. We'll see Brad Davis and then Volstad. No activity in the Marlins bullpen. 2-2. This is what you like to see. Everything has been down in the zone to start this at bat.
Ideally, you'd like to have him already have the bat finished and 1 down with 4 pitches. Now he runs it count full. Westbrook will pitch tomorrow, and I guess, you know, he's pitched extremely well. He just lack of run support. He could be really undefeated as a Cardinal. He could be 8-0 with 1 no decision if the team scored 4 runs for him each start.
A 3-2 pitch. Down the middle, base hit. Stanton on base for the 2nd time. We turn to the Hardee's prime cut of the game. Easy selection this afternoon. The grand slam, first ever for Brad Davis. They had walked Stanton intentionally to get to Davis, and he made him pay. 4-0 Florida here in their half of the 7th.
Davis hit 287. 9 home runs, 34 RBIs in 73 games for the Zephyrs. That's a AAA team in New Orleans.
Carpenter has given the Cardinals a chance. It just happened to be a grand slam he gave up. After that, he was fine. Looking at the numbers for Adam Wainwright, the Cy Young Award. Currently 2nd in ERA behind Josh Johnson, who has not been pitching. Wainwright at 2.45. Roy Halladay right behind him at 2.49. The wins department, 3 pitchers with 19. Ubaldo Jimenez of the Rockies, Wainwright with 19, and Roy Halladay at 19 as well. Innings pitched, Wainwright is 10 back of Halladay in that department. Wainwright is 3rd in strikeouts at 206. Lincecum at 211.
It's going to hurt Wainwright as the others, Halladay and Jimenez, both still have a possibility of getting postseason play. Halladay will be in postseason play. Adam has 5 complete games, but Halladay's more than that. I think Halladay's, it's his to lose.
We talk about the shadows at a ballpark in day baseball, how that becomes a factor. Well, one of the flags is right at home plate. And depending on how the wind is going, if it's going left to right, it does become a distraction for the hitter. Chance for Molina, goodbye. How many times have we said that this year? He catches another, Stanton gunned down.
About 45% of the time he's thrown out would-be base stealers. That's when they do run, and he really stops the running game. If you give him a chance to throw, you're going to have this result. And I'll bet you more than half of the times that teams have been successful against him is when he had no chance to throw.
There's a broken bat, Pedro Feliz. 2 outs.
Stanton just comes in there and he's waiting. Been caught for the 2nd time in 6 starts.
Speaking of Gold Gloves, there's another one on its way probably for Yachty.
More than likely, 1, 2 in a row. Hopefully get his 3rd.
Here's Volstad. struck out twice this afternoon.
He's pitched well. He's only allowed the Cardinals 3 hits. But you go over his scouting report before the game, and you kind of ask the Cardinals, what does he have? And they go, well, nothing special. It's a combination of mixing everything up. And the Cardinals have gone quietly, just like the Marlins did this inning.
Foxworth with his first strikeout. Top of the lineup coming up. It's 4-0 after 7. Change for the Marlins as Wes Helms will take over at third base. Here's a look at Helms. The Marlins fired Freddie Gonzalez 70 games into the season. New manager is Edwin Rodriguez. Including today, it's now 79 that he has managed. And coming into play this afternoon, the Marlins an even 500. As Edwin Rodriguez managed in the minor leagues. But you look at their numbers. Runs per game is down. Team average down. ERA higher. We'll see what happens with both these guys at the end of the season. Rodriguez trying to make a case to stay on. Schumacher, they were playing near the line, is hitless today. And Freddie Gonzalez, it looks like he is headed to Atlanta.
You know he's going to manage someplace. I don't know if we've heard any more about Atlanta, but he was a coach under Bobby Cox there. He was here twice. I think it was more of a personality clash with he and the owner. But Freddie's a very good man, and he'll get a job with somebody. He could be highly sought after, but a lot of managerial change. That's what we're going to see tomorrow on our next telecast. But how about you think Ozzie Guillen is in jeopardy now? You know, the White Sox have fallen 11 games behind.
Here's Jay and a liner out to center. There are some that have said Ozzie Guillen, if he would leave the White Sox, might be a candidate down here with the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, you can see Jerry Reinsdorf has gone on record saying biggest mistake he's ever made was when he fired Tony La Russa. Ozzie Guillen seemed like he was safe after winning the World Championship in '05, but very volatile personality. Made some comments that don't sit well. I think they were thought they were going to be in contention this year, and they have just fallen off the map.
No pitch to Pujols. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And it's tickets sold on the rainout. And you hear the 20,000 plus.
Almost fell out of my chair. As Pujols strikes out, Volstad has allowed just 3 hits. 4-0 Marlins. Cameron Maybin, the top of the lineup for the Marlins. Cardinals now have been given a hit on the ball that was initially ruled an error on the shortstop of the Florida Marlins, as Holiday now has a 2-hit game. That was back in the 6th inning, so 4 hits total for the Cardinals.
I think that's the right call.
You know, you're talking about managerial changes. Trey Hillman out, Ned Yost in Kansas City, Dave Tremblay out in Baltimore. Now Buck Showalter. Mentioned Freddie Gonzalez here, A.J. Hinch. Seattle with Don Wakamatsu. Lou Piniella left. Joe Torre says that with the Dodgers it'll be done.
That's 8, including Torre, right? And you don't know what's going to happen. Well, that's good.
Guy on the left was wearing a Cardinals jersey. He's just frustrated. You got to take it out on your brother.
Brother was bigger.
Who knows if he's tougher, though.
It's true.
Here's Martinez, who committed that error that's now been changed to a hit. Hawksworth in his 2nd inning. Relief of Carpenter. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Wow. wow, he went for the ear, now for the eyes.
I like how the
parents,
yeah, they just let him go. Don't worry about it. 2 outs. Good work here by Hawksworth.
They gave up the leadoff base hit, but last inning, but had that erased by Yachty, and then retired 4 in a row after that to help his own cause.
Clay Hensley throwing in the bullpen for the Marlins. You get the feeling that John Mozeliak and ownership would like to hear a decision rather quickly from Tony La Russa as to whether or not he wants to come back?
No doubt about it. It's and I'm sure that they will get that decision very quickly, because Tony knows that plans have to be made, and actually the manager should have a lot of input. And it's one of those situations where you would believe that if Tony were to go elsewhere, some of his coaches who came with him would go also follow.
And if you bring somebody new in, they're going to have their own ideas and what they want at particular positions and how you rearrange the team.
Yeah, but I get the impression, I think Tony will be back.
I do too. 3-0 with 2 outs and nobody on.
So it makes it real easy for him to make a quick decision.
You've got Pujols then after that. I think Tony's decision, very important, obviously, and then you're trying to extend the contract of Albert Pujols going into the final year of his deal next season. Here's Ugla. Just had a shot there of Logan Morrison, who was hit by a pitch, or rather hit the on-deck circle, I should say, the left eye. Still has swelling there and red. Anytime you hear about that, you think about Juan Encarnacion.
Yep, those two went to the same junior college separately, but Maplewood Community College making a little name for itself with Morrison and Pujols.
And Morrison has said that Pujols has actually come back to the community college, and when he was there, spoke at it, did a clinic for the kids that were there, and he's become friends with Albert since then. Two 2-0 here on Ugla with 2 outs and a runner at first. Fastball, 2-1. Ugla with a double and a run scored in the second. And runners at first and third, popped out to short and also flied out to left.
It's like a changeup here.
This is low.
In my mind, that may be his best pitch. He'll throw his fastball, 92, 94. A very good changeup. Breaking ball would be his secondary pitches would be work in progress, but still good enough.
A 3-1 pitch. Taken for a strike. Ugla thought it was ball 4. No surprise here. Troy Tulowitzki, the National League Player of the Week for the second time, second consecutive week. And according to Fox Tracks, that's a strike.
And on the black. I thought you were going to say no surprise here, another home run.
3-2 pitch. And he got him. Ugla strikes out. And that sends us to the 9th. 4-0 Marlins.
Game show, Pat Parra standing by. One pitch proves costly for the Cardinals. We'll also get Tony's take on today's game. That and more coming up after the game. We send it back to the booth.
Volstad is working on a complete game shutout here. First pitch to Matt Holliday was a strike. Holliday with a couple of base hits, and he's having words with the home plate umpire.
4 hits in the night. Afternoon, he has 2 of them.
1 ball, 1 strike. He doubled off the wall. And initially, a play that was ruled an error on the shortstop has been changed. Holliday pops it up. Shallow right field. 1 away. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By AT&T Mobility. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Here's Colby Rasmus. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Right down the middle, 2 and 2. Rasmus with a single today and a walk and a strikeout.
Volstad, 111 pitches to this point. He's dropped his ERA on the season under 5. Trying to win his 10th game.
And Colby, a ground ball sharply to first. Two outs. And we turn to the player of the game presented by Budweiser. 4-0 Marlins. Grand slam by Brad Davis, but Volstad gets our Budweiser player of the game. 4 hits, couple of walks, 3 strikeouts in 8 2/3. They did have Hensley throwing in the bullpen, but it doesn't look like they need him today. Cardinals with a total of 4 hits.
Just trying to get a little work in. There's nobody warming up now, and nobody has this half inning.
There's a shot out to left, and that ball gets down. 1 hopper off the wall. Molina will trot into second base with a 2-out double and extends the game. First base hit for Yadier Molina today.
Cardinals' 5th hit and only 2nd extra base hit. Holiday had a double. Now Molina gets a double out to left center. Pinch runner Mather will go into pinch run for Yadi. And another major league debut, Mark Hamilton.
He's wearing number 64. So Hamilton, the pinch hitter. One of the recent call-ups over the weekend. Played in 72 games at Memphis, and he looks at a strike.
I talked to him about the 72 games. You know, he broke a bone in his thumb early in the season. Texas League and Florida State All-Star in the past.
He's a first baseman, hits it out of play. He's 26.
He's only committed 6 errors and almost 1,100 chances over the last 2 seasons at first base.
72 career minor league home runs over the last 400+ games, and now he's in the hole, 0-2. Volstad trying to finish what he started. Fly ball out to center. This should do it. Marlins win it 4-0 over St. Louis. Volstad goes the distance and picks up the win. Complete game shutout as he allows just 5 base hits. We've got the post-game show coming up. We hope you stay with us. 4-0. The Marlins win it. This makeup baseball game at Sun Life Stadium.